Good evening, racing fans. Welcome to another race at Sunday Night Skippy. Another week, another track, and this time another commentator. We're ready in the beautiful Austria where the skips are ready to be on the big man tracks. We will drive here on the RedBull Ring in the official GP format. So, a lot of changes this week, but all for a good reason. Some things don't change, and that's why I'm happy to introduce my co-commentator Peter Lee. Peter, I'll be honest with you, I'm a bit nervous here. I'm glad to have you here with your experience. Can you tell for the viewers, if they're here for the first time, what is the SF2 race? What are we gonna see now?
Yeah, Pim, it's great to do this broadcast with you. I know we do a lot of broadcasting together, but I think this is the first time that you and I have done an SF2 race broadcast together, so I'm really looking forward to that. And it's also super fun for the two of us because we raced together in SF2 a couple of seasons ago, and so it kind of is good old times for us.
No, definitely. And then the next question, why am I in the booth? What do we do to our famous Chris Smorrell?
Well, and this is what's so exciting is Chris Smorrell is actually racing tonight in the Skippy Formula 2 or SF2 race. And so it'll be super exciting for him to be out on track. And of course, since he's on track, he can't be running the broadcast tonight, and that brings you here.
Yeah, no, I'm looking very forward to it. We've done a lot of test runs already, and it feels a little bit like I'm ready for the big step. And SF2, exactly what you were saying, we started here, so it's great to be here back. And I've seen a lot of different names. I also see some old names. But tell me, give me a quick update. What's up with these new people?
Well, you're right. You know, there are some people who've been racing in Skippy Formula 2 for several seasons now, you know, and that we've raced with, you know, people like Barry Stockdale, Jake Ashe, Carter Stickney. But there have been a lot of new faces and new people this season, like Craig Montgomery, Alan Paris, Michael Schmidt, Chris Daniel, and people who are new even just from one race ago, like Alex Othon. And so it's a good combination. And you know, Pim, you called this the big man's track, and indeed, it is a big track. It's big, wide, and fast. And I
Yeah,
think you know it's just so cool in the Skip Barber Race Series that we get to race on these really gigantic Formula One tracks.
no, it's amazing. I do want to have a quick look before we start to our championship because we got some nice people who are helping in in the league, and we have a nice standing. Joe provided us, and I see that Carter Stickney is taking the lead in this one. 237 points. After him is Rusty Pontenberg. Also surprisingly, just minus 8 points, so very close. And after that, it's good old Jake. Jake, does he still do these crazy pit stops early in the race?
Well, in fact, you know, he's been true to form as we've been seeing week in and week out. Jake's pit strategy. First off, viewers should understand that fuel is restricted for these Skippy Formula 2 races, which means that generally speaking, these drivers are going to have to make at least 2 stops for fuel. And so early in the first fueling window, Jake Ashe, week in and week out, generally likes to come in as soon as that pit window opens. And yeah, he's been doing that.
Yeah, he was doing that in the first season, and then it was a surprise. But it's funny to see that he's still doing it, and he does a really good job on in the championship. So that's a good part to see. I'm happy to see that he's doing a lot better than in the beginning, and I think he has a real shot this time to come into that final position.
Oh, he's just as fast as anyone in the SF2 field. And you know, I think when we were racing with him, Pim, you know, I don't know that we were any faster than Jake. In fact, I think for me anyway, I was a little bit slower. But you know, maybe we were a little bit steadier over full race distance. But Jake has just come on strong and is just you know, finishing races mistake free. Carter Stickney, another one who's just you know, he's at the top. It's just great to see Joe Zubovich's leaderboard there. And Carter's another one who's just eliminating mistakes over these long race distances, and it's really paying off.
So let's talk about Chris Small. He's not in the broadcast. We are expecting a lot from him on the field. How is he doing in qualification? They're already running right now?
Well, maybe this is also true to form, but oftentimes, as you know, Pim, when Chris races, he oftentimes chooses not to qualify. And it appears, I don't know if that's the case here, but it appears that he has not set a qualification time. And so he's right now showing to be starting right at the back of the pack, so in position 9.
We've seen him doing that more often in the other leagues. I'm curious what that means. I do see that we're starting to grid up over here. Love to see this skips on this track. I've watched it a lot of times with Formula 1, but this is a different thing. I'm happy that we drive on the full GP version.
Yeah, and so we're seeing Alan Paris on the pole with a great time, 150.16, which is anything you can get close to 150 or even mid 150s on cold tires at this track is pretty fast. And then Michael Schmidt qualifying P2 and Barry Stockdale in P3.
Good old Barry. Barry's a very safe driver when I was in this league. And, well, he's still here. Good to see that.
Yeah, it's nice you say that, Tim, because I think it's fair to say you and I both miss SF2. We had so much fun. I mean, just going side by side with these guys, the camaraderie, the trust.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think also a smaller pack, it's a little bit intimidated to be in the SF1 race. And then this is a great introduction to really start a little bit lower. But I do have to say, I see a lot of faster people. I don't think this is just the Formula 2 anymore.
Oh, no. Speed-wise, there's not much difference between this Skippy Formula 2 and Skippy Formula 1. The big difference for people who don't know is to be allowed to race in Skippy Formula 2, you can never have had an I rating in iRacing of 2,000 or higher.
All right, the lights are going to red, Peter, so we're going to see our first start right over here. Everybody is clean away, so that's already a great start over here. And here they come on that first corner. Always good to see. I remember a lot of accidents happening over here, but it seems that everything goes fine through. See Carter Stickney immediately taking a position over here. That's great to see.
And it looks like everyone is safe through that first turn, which is great. So this is a track with very few corners and long straightaways, and so they're going up this long hill, and now they have this tight, almost hairpin, right, where they shift all the way back down to first gear to continue going up the hill.
Yeah, and you see immediately that it's going to be one big line of skippies going through here. Everybody takes a position. It's a long race.
Absolutely. And so now here they'll start to level off, and they go through a little bit of a technical section, I think called the S's. This is where, at least for me, I have the most fun. You know, it's you're just controlling the balance of the car with the throttle through these S's, and then after you get through these S's, then you start on the downhill run.
Oh, we see Barry Stockdale going wrong. Can hold his car over there. I don't think he was damaged, but that was definitely a big shock over here.
Yeah, boy. And again, that looked like cold tires. It's pretty dangerous. Now here, these last two turns, you see cars can tend to go a little bit wide, and you're super anxious to get on the throttle because of this long front straight. This is also this front straight.
Oh, and we see another accident. I was just about to look at him. I'm not sure if it's my mistake or his mistake, but Chris Small has made a big smack against the wall.
Jake Gaucher also seems to have had an issue.
Yeah, I think he was involved in that same incident. Let's have a quick look how that went. They were with 4 of them quite closely over there. No, we see over there. That was Jake going wrong. I don't think there was much happening.
Yeah, it looked like Jake maybe had to check up a little bit and just lost the rear end.
Oh, so that everything looks different. He's driving all the way on the back over here. Chris Small is in position again on the 7th, so is trying to catch up.
Yeah, Chris and Barry Stockdale, Rob Chestnut, all in a little bit of a pack there, trying to make up some time, and then Barry Stockdale behind them, along with Jake Gaucher. Meanwhile, up front, we have this pack of 4 with Alan Paris, Michael Schmidt, Chris Daniel, and Alex Othon. And, they've got to be thinking, just got to stay in this pack, don't lose the draft, and try to keep it clean.
Yeah, and you do see that Chris Daniel definitely has somewhere a little bit more speed, but he's holding back.
Yep. And Carter Stickney there in P5. He's trying to catch up to that pack. That'll be tough. He's on a little bit of an island onto his own. And then behind him are Craig Montgomery and Chris Morrill in a little bit of a pack. It looks like Chris is taking a peek inside. Thought better of it. He's going to wait for another opportunity.
And here you see them come. The 3 of them, and actually 4 of them. And I think they're not fighting, but they're also not really playing along. So I think that's a great move for Carter, because he's coming back quite quickly.
Yeah, that's helping Carter for sure. Yeah, in fact, Carter has caught up to that lead pack now, so that's now a lead pack of 5.
Yeah, and he's not the only one, because Greg Montgomery and Chris Small are right behind there as well. So it's pretty much everything to play for.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, just to see how this long race plays out, because, you'll have to kind of make choices about if you are in the draft pack, about staying in the draft pack. On the other hand, you could try and undercut if you think you're being held back a little bit. One other thing, Pim, this is, I think, the first track in iRacing that has the new off-track system. And,
it does, yeah.
Yeah, and this has been a big discussion on the league Discord. I'm sure you've been following that. There's been some frustrations because it's new and so it feels a little bit mysterious. And for me, in the practice race earlier this week, I found it really annoying because some of these off tracks resulted in very strange slowdowns, like significant slowdown penalties. And so that'll be another factor here. People will be trying to avoid those.
Well, so long they're doing quite well avoiding that. I didn't see anybody parking the car. See Alan Parrish still in that first position, together with Chris Daniel, Alex Otten and Michael Smith. And Carter right behind there. And I think he's the lucky dog on this park, because he's really going into that championship.
Yeah.
Oh, and we do see he makes a move.
Yeah.
He's not making the move, but he's hard to... Oh, that was really close.
Wow. And it looks like Chris Morrill got around Craig Montgomery, and so it looked like he waited, a lap for another opportunity and made the pass.
Yeah, and while we talk about that, we do see that Jake has just left the pit stop. So he has already done his first part in here. And he's moving towards the rest. He's going to drive his own speed.
We'll have to watch his lap time, so I'll keep an eye on that just to see if he's getting a workable undercut there. He is running some fast laps, and so we'll take a look.
We're currently watching with Chris. He is going to start to work together with Rob Chestnut and Craig Montgomery to see if he can get back to those first people.
Yeah, Chris is he's driving strong. He's pulling out a serious gap. In fact, he's almost lost Craig Montgomery there. I think Craig probably has lost his draft, and so Chris is showing some real speed. Pretty impressive.
We immediately see Greg going into the pits. So he doesn't hold it that long, and he's going to do the same tactic as Jake Ache, going in very early.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back up front, it's it does look like that lead pack is starting to get strung out just a little bit, and well, then they close up again in that turn one.
Yeah, it's funny to see that, but I do think that Alan Paris really has some space over here, some speed over here.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Yeah, he has the purple lap so far with a 150.4, and so.
And while we say that, big mistake over there from Alan. Whoa! And then we had 4.
Boy, was that a broadcaster's curse, Pim?
I'm not sure. I don't talk about these things. That's not something for me. That's something for Chris to do.
So yeah, you're right. That just leaves now the lead pack of 4. Just Chris Daniel, Alex Olthan, Michael Schmidt, and Carter Stickney.
Yeah, let's have a quick look what happened with Alan. He just parked the car by himself. And we're back to that first group, 4 drivers. Chris Daniel, Alex Olton and Michael Schmidt. Together with Carter Stickney. We do see here a move on the long straight. He's going to take that inside here, Alex. Yeah. He's daring to do that, and while he's doing that, we see on the outside as well. But they're keeping it clean.
Yeah, but that's going to allow everyone to get around Michael Schmidt, including Carter Stickney. And I noticed that in the Wednesday practice race also, there were a surprising number of 2 wide and 3 wide situations going into that turn 1. That turn 1, it looks tight, but it's actually a pretty high-speed third gear corner, and so it kind of invites that kind of move, and but it's tricky, as you could see there.
No, it's very tricky to.
Wonder, we should keep an eye on Chris Morrill. So he's about 3 seconds behind that lead pack. We'll have to keep an eye on whether he's making up ground there.
Let's drive along with Chris Daniel. Right behind him is that whole group. And we can see that Alex takes a little bit of a different line and gets a lot closer up here.
Yeah, very interesting. These S's, the second part of that S, you can take without braking. It requires a really sharp lift on the throttle and a lot of precision. And then here, as you're going down the hill, this is where one of these
slowdowns. Here we see Michael Schmidt going really wide, but he holds that car.
I'm wondering though, he might get a 1 second slowdown there. I believe that's one of the slowdown zones. Yeah, in fact, it looks like he's lifting.
All right, and here we see Alex doing the same thing. He's going for that inside, but has a much better line right now. Now he needs to brake. Yeah, and there he goes again.
Yep, and now Carter's going to try to take advantage.
Oh, that's an interesting move from Carter. Just waiting and waiting and waiting.
And this section here reminds me a lot of the long uphill straight at Watkins Glen. It's that same kind of long uphill, and if you don't, get a good entry onto that straight, you're going to pay.
Yeah, Peter, help me understand this more. We have 2 pit stops. When do you expect the first pit stop? Because we're already 12 minutes in this race.
Yeah, these guys have got to be coming at the end of their pit window right about now, and so let's see if they finish these S's and come down the hill. Let's see if they pit. The pit entry, by the way, here is pretty tricky. You're coming around, I think it's turn 9. It's a pretty high speed, a fourth gear right-hander, pretty fast. But to make the pit entry safely, you have to compromise that corner. And in my mind, I was just wondering if we'll see some incidents here. And so with this train of 4, where someone might be planning to pit this time or the next time around, it could be a little dangerous. Let's watch them.
Do you see here again some other moves? People sliding around. And Alex is going into the pits. Yeah, that's what I thought. See Alex Alton going into the pits. He takes that line over here.
You had the feeling that that was going to happen, didn't you?
I saw it happening.
Yeah. Well, so then that leaves Chris Daniel and Carter Stickney still out, and you've got to believe that they've got to come in next. And Michael Schmidt's just out of draft range there, and so he'll be trying to catch up here. As you come to the end of this uphill straight here, you're in 5th gear, and then you brake all the way down to 1st gear. It's not as hard braking as you might think because it's uphill, but you almost feel like you're stopping the car for that right-hand turn.
Yeah, but look at the times of Chris Small. He's really going quick up to Michael Schmidt. It's only 2 seconds that he's behind him. And it's really looking like they're forming the new 4. And Chris Daniel, how many races did he already race with SF2?
I can't remember. I think he's been here the whole season so far. But it's possible he's missed a race, but he's been a good addition to the league for sure.
That's great to see. He is really taking a little bit of a lead now.
And we'll have to watch to see if these 3 drivers now decide to come in for their pit stops.
Well, I do have to say Carter has been very easy. I think he's going to wait the latest. And we do see here Chris Daniel going into the pits. Wow, that was a spectacular action. But all 3 of them are coming in.
That's right.
Braking. And we see Chris also coming in. So with the 4 of them. Now you have to stay quiet. Make sure that you get into that pit limiter time.
So now it'll be interesting to see where they come out compared to the others who have pitted.
We see that Michael Schmidt had a little bit of an issue, and we see already Barry Stockdale also in. And now we see Chris Daniel already going out together with Carter immediately behind him.
Yeah. Well, Carter's again showing really good management of his pit stops.
Yeah, and look at Jake Ashe already did a pit stop and now is suddenly back into this track.
Yep, so Alex Othon, who had pitted the lap earlier, just went around turn 1, a little bit more momentum going up that hill and got past Carter. So it looks like Chris Daniel was the winner, so to speak, of the first round of pit stops.
Well, I'm not sure. I think Carter is way too quiet. He's just driving along. I have a feeling that there's a tactic on that part. At the moment he's doing really well right behind Alex Alton.
Meanwhile, that early pit stop, that undercut by Jake Ashe, seems to have paid off. Jake's worked his way back up to P6.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to figure this out. Like, who's going to do exactly the same? He's doing it for 3 seasons long. It's 3 seasons long working.
I'm trying to remember, Pim. Was Jake doing that when we were racing against him?
Yes, he was. And we were asking him because we had no idea where he was. He did it in the first lap, I still remember that one. And in the last lap, he was suddenly, I think, first or second.
Wow.
No, yeah, he always done it, and I never understood how. I bought a whole
Well,
program to actually match him a little bit.
hmm, it does seem to work. And, I tried, I don't know if you remember this season, Pim, at our Skippy Formula One race at Suzuka, I decided to try for an undercut. And I pitted early, and it was working. But then the race went a lap longer than I calculated, and I didn't have enough fuel, so I had to pit a third time just for that splash.
All right, while we're still talking, we do see that Carter is taking the inside, and he's now taking the lead of Alex. So good old waiting. It's over. He's gonna go for an attack up here.
Then looks like Alex is going to challenge him here, coming up to turn 3.
Yeah, and Carter has a different line, a different tactic.
Yep.
He's immediately going behind him, not worried about it.
That's right. Yeah, still 15 minutes, almost 15 minutes left in the race, so plenty of time.
Yeah, plenty of time, but we do see that in the chat, people are a little bit more anxious. He should do it. I totally agree. I think Alex Carter has the speed. Should be possible.
And, don't look now, but Michael Schmidt and Chris Smorrell are really making up ground here, and are just about caught up to this lead pack of 3. Michael Schmidt is what, just about 1.2 seconds behind, and then Chris only half a second behind there. And so I am guessing at their current pace, in the next lap or two, we're going to again have a lead pack of 5, maybe about the time for the second pit stops.
Yeah, I was looking at the back, but it's really here where it's going here with Alex and Carter together with Chris. They're really making a lot of speed. I do have to say, I love that Michael Schmidt car. I'm not sure what he has painted on there, but looks awesome.
Well, it is amazing how the cars kind of close up on each other coming up to the end of this straight into T2.
That's so good to see, because now we see that Chris Small has got the draft. So this is going to be an all 5 game.
Yeah. I'm just looking back. There's quite a battle for P7. They've been kind of trading spots every other lap between Rob Chestnut and Craig Montgomery. And, it's been kind of fierce how they've been going at it, just lap after lap.
Well, that's always nice to see. Maybe we should drive along with them for a little bit. We see here Montgomery is right behind Rob Chestnut.
And that battle is giving Barry Stockdale behind them a chance to catch up. And as we know, just from the qualification and practice sessions, Barry has speed on most of these guys on track. And so it's going to give him a chance maybe to make up some ground here.
Well, I do see that the group up front is getting a little bit of a run for Chris.
Looks like Jake Otley and Michael Schmidt are in for their second pit stops.
Yeah, going in together. So that's good also for Jake. Then he at least has somebody who you can run with.
Yep. Pim, the race is staying closer. I wasn't too sure what to expect. You could kind of guess a draft track like this that cars would stay close, but I was sort of expecting things to spread out quite a bit, but it's staying close. It'll be interesting to see if that happens in the much larger Skippy Formula One field.
Yeah, that's definitely. Oh, I'm afraid of that to see happening. I have to be honest on that.
Yeah, it'll be, I'm sure, interesting to call.
Oh yeah, no, and I did make one thing with Chris. Chris is coming back for the Formula One race, because I don't think he's going to survive there as well. Although he does really well, he's on that 4th position, and I do see him gaining it again on those 3 every time he comes back.
Meanwhile, Chris Daniel and Alex Othon, were side by side going through the S's, battling each other, and that's been great for Carter Stickney. Carter's now pulled out more than a 1-second lead.
Now we're driving along with Carter. Takes those corners beautiful. And you want to say that that's still not an off track? Because I don't think he has 4 wheels on the track anymore.
Well, yeah, so the cool thing now is in iRacing there's a new screen called Rules that has these images marked clearly. And so if you get any rubber, on the red areas in these images, that's supposed to be an off track. And so, but, it looks like you can just get, just a sliver of tire in some of those red areas and not get penalized at all. On the other hand, some of these things aren't off track. Some of them are slowdowns, either 1 second. There's even a 3-second slowdown in one part of the track, and so it's just something. I think it's there were some complaints in the league Discord.
Of course.
But I think it's just something that is new, and people just have to get used to.
All right, while you're talking about that, we see Alex Alton has left the pit as well, so he's now up to the finish line. Doesn't have to do anything anymore.
The other thing also, this was a tough track for off tracks because there's so few corners here. It's a long, big track, very few corners, and so in the official pub races, you can really take a big hit on your safety rating. It's interesting now with Chris Morrill running in P3, he has caught up to this lead pack. So the pit strategies, these 3 leaders still have 1 more pit stop to make. It's great to see Chris having caught up to this lead pack. He's just been working on it all race with a lot of.
He keeps coming back. So he does have that speed, and he's again in that draft, so that's going to be interesting to see right now.
Yep. The rest of the field is pretty spread out now, almost like what maybe I was expecting, but it looks like Barry Stockdale's in the pits for his 2nd stop.
There is actually a request on the chat if we can see some incident count overlay. Don't want to go into that too much, but we do see that Chris Daniel has already hit the 13 up here. Well, Chris is being very nicely and working his way up with 1x, so that's quite nice to see. There's quite a bit of difference to see.
Yeah, 1x is impressive. I think it's just been a little. I guess the word to use is the off tracks are just a little bit more strict than what I think many of us are used to, and so there have been pretty high incident counts.
Yeah, and I think if we look at the standing again, we have Carter Stickney on that 1st position. Now he's on the 1st position over here. We have Rusty Bondberg, who's not here at all. So that was a big win for Carter. And then we have Jake in 6th position. Not sure if he can still make something out of that. There's quite a bit of a gap between him and the rest.
Yeah, I think the only close battle on the track right at the moment is with the leaders, Carter Stickney and Chris Daniel. And Chris Morrill is just barely within draft range behind them.
Oh yeah, I fully expect him to come back over there.
It does look like Chris is really trying to be patient and really trying to pressure Carter. This is making me think also, just for the Formula One race, that it's also a matter that he has to worry about staying ahead of Chris and not sacrificing too much speed in any attempts to pass Carter too early.
Yeah, I know. I definitely I can't believe that Chris is already here so far, because I told him he's gonna get killed in this race, but he's doing so well, and I can't believe it. Do you really think he's gonna win in the morning and win in the evening? Do you think that's possible?
Well, maybe you should tell the viewers about his win this morning.
I want to forget about it. He won too many times. No, I think he won an awesome race in Michigan on the oval. And we were there to see that.
Yeah, in NASCAR Cup cars. Yeah, super impressive.
And now it's all really Carter, Chris, and Chris. So I do feel that Carter is a little bit in the minority over here. But he is that champ.
Yeah.
He takes that inside line over here. And you see definitely that Chris Daniel is trying to cheek a little bit. But that's not working.
So they're coming in now, all three leaders coming in for their
Oh,
second pit stop.
yes.
And this will be really interesting to see. Now,
Yeah, and Chris has done this before. Chris,
yeah,
you saw
and-
Chris doing a really smart move. He's so
one
close
thing
now.
we know about Carter, though, is Carter, I think, manually controls his fueling. And so, you know, I think Carter has beaten both you and me, Pim, in SF2 races, just by being faster in the pits. Look, he's coming out again, faster than the others.
A lot faster than the others.
Yeah, that's just classic Carter Stickney right there. Now, of course, we'll have to hope that he took on enough fuel.
Yeah, and what happens to Alex Alton? Because he's now right in between there. And I do think Chris has done that very smartly.
Yep.
Because he's now ahead of him.
Yeah. Although he doesn't quite have the same momentum as Alex. But
So Alex is going past him right over here. Look at this. Awesome to see. He takes that inside line and Chris keeps running it.
yeah,
He's not
that
past
inside
him.
line there is,
No.
yeah, that's tough. If you can't, because you're in first gear, and actually if you can't exit wide out of that turn 2, the wheels on the Skippy spin. And so,
Well, at least they did a lot better than Verstappen and Leclerc over there. No touching at all and taking care of each other.
yeah, that's a good point.
But that makes everything upside down. Alan
Well,
Paris.
Alan Paris is in the lead, but still has to pit one more time unless he's found some magic fuel savings.
I wouldn't
so-
be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But I do think that we're going to see that he's going to come in right over here. Yeah, you see him
you can.
making that turn a little bit more inside.
Well, Carter is then sitting pretty. He's got a 2-second lead now on Chris Daniel. And let's see, when they come around here, I think this won't be white flag. And so 2 more laps, I'm guessing.
It's 5 more minutes. Yeah, 2 more laps. Carter Stickney is now officially the leader with a big lead. And it's not done for position 3. We see Alex riding over there together with Chris.
Pim, I'm wondering even if there will be 3 more laps. And
Yeah, I
if
think so.
so, whether that's going to have fuel implications, especially for Carter, who took such a quick fuel stop. It'll be super interesting just to see.
You're absolutely right. While we're looking over here, we see a nice fight with Chris Small and Alex Alton, which is right behind there. But Carter is really running a lot faster. Like I see a couple of tenths per lap he's increasing right now.
Yeah, it looks to me like Carter has the purple lap of the race so far with a 149.49.
But that also probably means that he doesn't have that much fuel left. So I am really curious how he's going to end there up here. Because we've seen
he's
it
in this
before.
weird situation, Pim, where, if he could go slower, he could cut the race down by a lap. On the other hand, he can't go too slow and give up the lead.
No. That's impossible. I thought about it a couple of times, but I don't think that's possible when you're driving.
Yeah.
I think Carter is just he did run out of gas. I can remember in Brazil as well. So
Yeah,
he does take that
right.
risk up here.
Yep. I remember that.
And while we're
In fact,
talking about
you know, that gave me the win there. I remember.
yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
So it looks like, yeah, so in fact, this is not the white flag lap. So Carter has crossed our finish line. There's going to be 2 more laps. And so now I'm on the edge of my seat, just wanting to know who has enough fuel to finish the race.
Yeah, no. Okay, now we're gonna get to see the Verstappen-Leclerc move from Alex Holton. He's taking that long run, but Chris also has a good run suddenly. He is in there. Oh no, this is gonna be an interesting corner.
Yeah.
Are we taking a 3 wide?
Line.
Well, we're gonna at least try 2 wide. He takes that. Yeah, he has that. Yeah, he's gonna take it. He's gonna take it. I'm curious if Alex also is gonna go over there. All right, and is this tactic or is this because it's not the last lap? You still have to do this one more time.
That's right. Yeah.
So do you want to be in front?
That's a good question. Yeah. Boy, this is
Look
a battle.
at this.
No one's giving in at all.
No, it's nice to see this.
Alex is just there lurking, waiting.
Yeah, but Chris is now taking that inside line. He takes that that position. He is now on the 2nd position. You got to be kidding me.
Wow.
And while they fight, Chris of Carter Stickney is laughing. He's laughing. He's running away over here.
Yeah, Carter now is over a 4-second lead just because of all this battling. That is incredible.
And here's Chris Small, Alex Olton, and Chris Daniel driving along.
All right, so now I believe this is the white flag for everyone. And the thing I'm watching is just to see if everyone has the fuel to make it.
Yeah, I'm going to stick currently with this fight for 2nd position because that's not done yet. And Alex has made this move many times now. He's going to go to the inside. He's not going to the inside. He's going to the outside. Different tactic. But he's a lot faster here. Oh, and Chris goes tucks behind him.
Yeah, well, I think Chris wants that outside line. I think that outside line is proving to be a little better. You get a better run coming out here. And so...
Yeah, I haven't driven up here, but is there another chance? I think this is the last chance, this corner. You don't take him over here, it's going to be very difficult.
It'll be tough. It'll be really hard. But after this, the S's, I think, doesn't really present any easy passing opportunities. And so the last one after the S's, I think, would be the entry to turn 9, which is a pretty scary, high-speed 4th gear right-hander.
Well, in the moment, Carter has lost some time. He is losing. I think he's losing a lot of time. This is going to be very interesting. I think he's out of fuel. Yeah, it could be that he's out of fuel, and that he has to take it very easily.
Yeah.
But he is going to make that because Alex and Chris are focused on themselves. Is Chris going to take the inside? No, he's too far. He's too far.
Too far, and it's too fast. There's really hardly any
braking.
Well done,
Alex Olton. Well done.
Yes.
Great driving over here.
And boy, what a great drive by Carter Stickney. Again, just didn't make any mistakes. Just great fueling, pit strategy.
Yeah, and what do you think again about Jake Ashe? Was gone in the beginning and now 5th position.
Yeah, that's a great recovery by Jake, for sure.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Jake's really happy. It's a little bit of a stopper. You get your points, but it's not what you wanted and expected. But for Jake, there's another option. He has another race to go. I hope he's going to run in the Formula 1. So, because now it's also your turn, Peter. What do you think about Formula 1?
Well, I am going to be serving a black flag drive-through penalty at the start of this race, and so for me, I want to stay out of trouble, do my drive-through, and my goal is, to finish on the lead lap after, spotting all the leaders about a 1 minute head start. I'm feeling pretty good. I had a great practice race on Wednesday, and I learned a few things from these guys just watching. It was a great race.
It was a great race. I thought it was a nice, clean race. I didn't expect this much fun on it, and yeah, I'm looking very forward to the Formula One. I will have a look out for you because yeah, with that serving that black flag is not that fun, but I think more people are having it, so will be interesting to see, and would love to wish you all the luck in this race.
Thanks, Pam. And Pam, it was just loads of fun kind of reconnecting with you with Skippy Formula 2. Really great memories for the two of us.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I hope this won't be the last time. Let's see if we can get Chris get more back into that skip. But for now, I wish you all the luck, and we're going to be back in a short while to Formula One.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to virtual RedBull Ring here in Austria. And it's I'm joining you fresh off the track here. This is going to be the first time I got to actually give some personal perspective, which I'm super excited about. But other than that, we've got special guest Jeffrey Decker in the house tonight. Jeffrey, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm here just to offer nothing but banter. No laps this week, no wheel in front of me. It's a weird feeling to be in the rig, but no wheel in front of me.
It's got to be a little more relaxing, I suppose, but probably not as exciting.
Yeah, definitely more relaxing. But no, I'm excited to see these guys race. I think this officially puts me out of any hunt for the championship, so I just get to play like week-to-week upsetter from here on out, which is actually kind of nice.
I like that. That's a fun role to play, I'm sure, as opposed to the constant stress of worrying about points gaps and all that sort of stuff. So, but anyway, thanks for joining us, and looking forward to getting your perspective on everything. Running the cameras tonight and also talking with us, Pim Luth. I just want to say hello, and also thank you for doing the Skippy Formula 2 race so that I could actually run with these guys.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Awesome to do. It was a good tryout, and yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this many cars. I think that's really always where that challenge is. So I'm looking forward if I can come up with some speed over here.
Yeah, it's we'll keep you on your toes for sure. As the qualifying has ended, I don't know if we can take a look maybe there once it goes official at the qualifying results.
Yeah,
have they
right
finished? Yeah. Okay, we got it.
It's right up here.
So congratulations to Chris Herrera on the pole position, Joshua Dancy on the outside pole. So that's going to be a real fun drag race down there to turn one into the braking zone there on cold tires. Looking forward to it, and I assume you'll scroll through the rest there, and yeah, just I guess the normal criminals out here setting some pretty good lap times and some really great results.
Yeah, well, I want to give a massive shout out to both Adam Wright and Scott Bell for qualifying P3 and P4. I think Scott will be really happy with that, and Adam's been poking around towards the front of the grid after qualifying for a while now. So always good to see. Although it looks like Herrera has quite a gap on them in P2. So I wonder what we'll see in terms of draft and people kind of trying to stay on his gearbox for as long as possible.
Yeah, that's great results for them, and a lot can happen in these first few laps. And we were talking a little bit about it before. You got to wonder how people are going to treat this first one, because there is a bit of a draft effect here. Nice long straights, and we've mentioned before in the broadcast how these cars are just kind of made to, punch holes in the air, and you can use that to your benefit. But at the same time, at some point, you got to cooperate to graduate and get to the finish. So what I'm looking forward to checking out is who wants to fall in line, and where they're going to do that, or who's going to push the issue there early on and try to pick up a position or two. But yeah, Adam Wright, Scott Bell, no, not many positions to pick up, so they may be feeling a little frisky there to get out there and lead some laps.
Yeah,
Chris,
I think,
Chris, what do you think? Chris, what do you think about Rafael Bofil on position number 22 and Peter Lee on 26? It's a little bit unexpected for Rafa. He hasn't practiced at all this week. I'm very curious about those guys.
I think that just goes to show you how important like you said, if he hasn't been putting in the laps in for practice because of life or whatever reason, certainly nothing against him there, but that's going to put you down toward the back of the starting positions. And one of the things this track here in iRacing has a different set of off-track limits. So if you get an off-track during qualifying, is people who may not know, if you go off the racing surface as defined by iRacing, that's going to invalidate your lap time. So that may have been biting some of these guys and potentially leading to a slower result than they would have hoped for, or a lower grid position. So that was just one of the big talking points so far throughout the week in the Discord is like the off tracks, and obviously some guys able to still be fast and navigate that, but I could certainly understand the frustration of the qualifying while that's going on, and it looks like we're about to go lights out here.
Green, green, green.
And they're off.
Look at that. There's a big, long line of skippies.
Yep, there it is. 3.
So they right at the front, Chris Herrera's kind of pulled out a little bit of a gap here. It seemed like the rest of the guys weren't quite sure if they wanted to go too wide or see what they want to do. So we'll see if they can kind of pull that in. Based off of the qualifying time and Herrera already having kind of a second gap, that could spell trouble for some of these guys. That said, I think fuel strategy is going to play a lot here. We're expecting 2 stops from everyone tonight, so if you can sit in the draft and kind of use that draft to do some fuel saving, you can make a huge leap in those 2 pit stops.
So the one thing that I noticed, just touching on what you were saying, is that going too wide or more, which you would hope not, but going too wide through some of the turns, it's corner exit, specifically on turn 2, which they just went through, and then the last couple turns really is going to make or break your lap. So if you're going too wide through turn 1 and turn 2, and you're not going to be able to run your line that you want and get that nice exit speed, that's going to allow things like the Chris Herrera gap here to form.
Yeah, and we'll see. I'm seeing that Dance is back within a second, so hopefully they'll be able to kind of claw their way back up to Chris, and we get a nice battle for P1 the rest of the way. Looking back through the field, though, it seems like we've got a pretty tight pack overall. There are some small gaps here and there. I did notice a couple guys going too wide, but for the most part, it seems like we've still got a nice train of skippies heading around the track. So good to see. And as far as I can tell, no big incidents.
Yeah, so far so good. It looks like, at least from a contact perspective, a couple off tracks here and there, but nothing too bad. I don't know why is Ray going through here. Maybe just slowed down real quick. I was getting indication here that Ray Bartnikowski may have had an incident. Oh yeah, a little nose to tail there. I believe that may have been Steve Dewar into the braking zone for turn 2, it looks like. So that's really it.
Well, we're seeing right up here that Carl's taking a position. He's taking that inside line here.
Yeah, we've got some, quite a few passes happening up at turn 3 at the top of the hill, which is kind of where I expect to see most of the overtaking. We also see that I think Max DiGiacomo is missing the rear wing, so maybe that'll help him out of the slipstream, but I don't know. We might be seeing a little bit of a loose Skippy there.
Yeah, it's never what you want to see, but some great side-by-side racing throughout the field here so far, and for the most part keeping it somewhat clean. You can see Scott Bell down 2 positions early on, and they've got quite a nice grouping there from P4 all the way through 10th, and then once again after that from 12th back to 20th.
Yeah, and I think this is a good way to just see like how quickly that little bit of fighting can make a huge difference in your race. Already that pack has kind of lost the fight for the podium at this point, so they have a lot of work to do to catch back up to that podium fight. And I think it's just because they were jostling for those positions within that group that they have kind of separated now.
Yeah, agreed, absolutely. JR Hoops leading that second group. That, like I said before, goes all the way back to now 21st position.
Yeah, so if I'm stuck in a second group here, so like Scott Bell, Michael Hownick, these guys, I'd probably be looking to do as much fuel saving as possible, even with Carl and Pete. I think those guys are going to try to do some fuel saving and see if in the pit stops they can kind of make up that gap to the podium positions. It's going to be really, really difficult, especially if the guys at the front keep fighting each other, though, which was what we're seeing. Actually, 3 wide heading down to turn 4. So we're going to see how this sorts out. It's not a position I'd want to be in. I'd be looking to back out of this one, but these guys are.
Oh, and they're gonna touch.
Contact on the inside.
Oh, and he's gonna collect.
They kind of they navigated that well. It's really, really hard when those tires link up with the skippies or really any open wheel car. They kind of get sucked into one another. So I think those guys did a great job of A, not collecting a large group of skippies, and B, keeping their race going.
Yeah, that's gonna. Michael Howenick, I believe, was ultimately now, barring any damage there. It looked like a bit of net code, but they were pretty close. Michael Howenick having to go all the way into the gravel there to avoid. He's going to lose the most positions out of all of that, but either way, it's, yeah, to your point, that could have been much, much worse.
Yeah, and I see Scott Bell is now falling down the order, so it appears that he maybe has some damage from that. That does change, I think, the plan, though, for some of these guys.
Oh, and he can't get onto pit road. He's trying to get to pit road, but he's just going to, he's going to have to tow, ultimately. Probably not the start that he wanted.
You know what, though? That was the right call. It's good to see him do that tow instead of trying to cut across traffic there. That's what we love to see on Sunday Night Skippy.
Yeah.
But yeah, now, so I was surprised to see like where Pete and Carl qualified. I generally expect them to have a little bit more pace than they were showing in quali. But now that they're leading kind of this second pack, I think they're a good duo to try to chip into this gap and see if they can kind of catch the podium group. That said, that podium group is really tightened back up. They're all now within a second of each other. And then we have about like 6 seconds back, Carl in that second group. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But I think we're going to see some tight battling in these groups. But it seems maybe some of the elbows out stuff is going to cool down here after the couple of incidents. I think everyone will be wanting to avoid that at least until later on in the race.
Yeah, it's doing the Skippy Formula 2 race myself. I'm looking down here at Aaron Law and Benjamin Harris going side by side, and then Ray and Steve behind them. So maybe not. Maybe we're gonna battle just a little bit more here. But it was my first real time racing with you guys in quite a while, and you feel it. You feel the sense of urgency in trying to get up there, especially when you see that lead pack kind of pulling away, and then there's not much you can do about it. So the patience is very difficult. It's a skill that's should be employed, but it's difficult because we're out here to race, we're out here to go fast, and yeah, it's a lot harder than it looks. That's all I'm trying to say.
It certainly is, yeah. Especially, I think, is it Scott Bell has like patience or something like that, or stay calm?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a perfect reminder, especially for these situations. Pack racing is especially tough because all it takes is someone in front of you to make the wrong decision for you to effectively lose positions in the race. And actually, as I say that, we're seeing guys go 3 wide up into turn 3 once again, and now the run down to turn 4.
Don't drift!
Oh, and we've got contact between that. That's the very, very hard part about forcing the issue there, I think, is that coming down on that exit, there's just it's hard for everyone to have a line going into turn 4 at the bottom of the hill. It's a area of the track where really you want to be able to use all of the track. Otherwise, you're dancing the car on a knife's edge.
Wow. Yeah. So Pete Mabrotten and Max Giacomo are going to take the tow there. So that's one less. This is going to end up being a war of attrition at this point.
Yeah, so I think what that does is that kind of leaves Carl out on an island. That said, it seems like he's actually made up time to the front group by about, I don't know, it looks like maybe half a second. So let's see if he can kind of take that gap down even further. Any little mistake up ahead, Carl will really want to take advantage of to try to see that gap drop down. The unfortunate thing for him is he's in completely clear air. He's going to have to use as much fuel as possible, really, to catch back up. So right now, I think for me, I'd be pretty happy to be Joshua Dancy or Adam Wright sitting back in Herrera's draft and kind of saving all that fuel for later on in the race.
Well, good to see Team Running on Empty back out in the lead there. And one thing I'll point out, that last lap, what I'm showing is Carl was about a second faster than this lead group. So to your point, he seems to be able to be chipping away despite these guys being in a draft pack, like you said. So maybe they're just taking it a little easy. Maybe Chris has decided he needs to save fuel a little bit because he's not in his own draft. And
yeah, I think if I'm Chris right here, and no one's challenging me, I'm going to try to do a little bit of fuel saving. So I think that makes sense from his perspective. If he is kind of just doing a little bit earlier of lifts, a little bit easier getting back on throttle, we'll see. You can kind of see Dancy's really getting up to him under braking very closely. So it kind of feels to me like Chris is maybe taking the braking zones a little bit slower because he knows he's not really under threat of someone trying to overtake him, at least at this point in the race. But that said, Carl's already dipped in another half second this lap, so it seems like they're going to really want to get a move on, or they're going to have company, and there's going to be a little bit more of a fight for the podium than it appeared just a couple laps ago.
well, we've got a battle for the podium. Carl's 3.6 seconds back, and then after that, we've got Thomas Fotos and Gurkin Demir. These guys, Thomas up 5 spots right now to P5 and looking for another one. Oh wait, no, he's in the lead there. Gurkin Demir, firmly in his gearbox there. Just, I mean, that's super draft position right there, and just some pretty great battle's still going, 2 by 2. So as stretched out as the field is getting, there's still some great races within each of these groups. Right now I'm looking at Benjamin Harris there in P13.
Now we've got Michael Howanick and J.R. Hoops, I believe, going
just above them, yeah.
Up into turn 3. So continuous battle going on there. It's fighting all within these little packs. I'm actually very, very surprised by it, but I think a lot of these guys have just decided they're not going to catch the group ahead, so it's time to jostle, which you like to see. It's entertainment for us.
Yeah, that maneuver right there that we just saw is exactly the kind of thing I was talking about, where you just neither of those cars is able to get the exit that you need to have a good run down into the next, that whole entire straightaway. Now basically your momentum's killed, so you really got to pick and choose your spots of when you're going to send it too wide. But it looks like JR is backing out just a little. Wait, yeah, that's JR. He's backing out just a little bit there, and he's just going to tag on to the end of this group and be happy to trail along, save some gas there, it looks like.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. If you're not comfortable with these guys around you being the aggressors, finding a comfortable place within that pack and just saying, let me run my own race and kind of do what I want to do, as opposed to putting yourself kind of on edge and potentially making a mistake where you're not comfortable. I think that's a really, really smart move. So now he can kind of sit back here, he can use the draft and kind of figure out what he wants his race plan to be from here on out. But I'd say, this is a fight for the top 10 position. I'd say he's in a good spot to have a top 10 finish.
Well, patience is a virtue, like we were talking about before, and it's going to pay off. I imagine in this particular race, there's just not a lot of room for error, margin for error here at the RedBull Ring, and I know there's a lot of discussion there in Discord about whether people like the track or not. Mixed reviews, mainly negative. I tend to like it. I thought I had a great time in Skip Formula 2.
We're seeing some 4 wide now. People deciding that maybe that's not the best idea, and they end up going back to 2 by 2. But still, quite a time. You do a little bit of smoke there, but nothing too crazy. Looks like all those guys got through clean. But this is the kind of battling that's super exciting to see. It's not necessarily best for these guys in terms of making up time, but if they're looking to have a good time, this is definitely the way to do it.
Yeah, looks like Steve Dewar. Well, maybe, Aaron Law. They're trying to catch up to Aaron Law, but Steve Dewar leading the pack of these guys that are going 3-4 wide through some of the turns here. And this is very exciting. Steve Dewar's up 9 spots right now. I'm showing him as our highest mover, so picking his way through the field, taking advantage of other people's mistakes, and he finds himself in the top 12.
Yeah, and he's got So that group is just within touching distance of him, and that essentially incorporates P11 through P18, which is a pretty big group to still kind of be hanging out. It looks like, do we have a pit taker now?
We do. Adam Wright, from the lead pack, is going to be the first of that group, really, to give the fuel strategy a shot, which is interesting. Separating yourself from that draft pack.
Yeah, so is what this does by taking the early pit stop plus having the fuel saving, it may give him a buffer, and he may be able to come out a second plus ahead. But I think it's going to be tough because it really is somewhat early in the race to be doing that. We're only on lap 9 at this point, so we'll see if that works out for him. But I kind of expect the second stop is really where you want to use that short pit stop to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, the gap there back to Carl, we talked about it before, is about 3.5 seconds or so. He's whittled that down to under 2.5. So
yeah,
I think he may.
He was a second faster last lap again. So Carl has definitely found the pace from qualifying to the race. He's got 2 wins on the trot. He's hot right now. So he's not the guy that I would want hunting me down. That is for sure. But also, honestly, behind him, it looks like Gerken Demir's also got within touching distance of him. And so we're looking at potentially having a lead pack of 6 again after these pit stops cycle through, which is kind of surprising, but also really exciting to see.
Holy cow. All right, well, we are now past 16 minutes into our 45 minutes. Looks like Carl is going to be the next taker down pit road. So we will see how long he is in there. Same thing with Michael Howenick.
And so this is where I'm expecting quite a decent gap to who pitted first? Adam, there we go.
Adam, yeah.
I'm expecting a little bit of a gap to Adam because Carl's been running in clean air, pushing and pushing and pushing, trying to find that pack. So I expect that gap to grow a little bit again with his pit stop, and then he's got to try to chip away at that again for the final stop. And he's just pulling out of the pits, so we'll see where he cycles through. I'll keep an eye on that. All right, so yeah, actually Adam is already through turn 1, and Carl is still yet to be there coming out of the pits. So it is a decent gap, but as we've seen, Carl has been showing the pace to close that up. So I'm expecting to see that once again.
Yeah, very similar pit lane times. They're about 0.7 seconds apart between Adam and Carl, but Carl taking 2 seconds, well, almost 2 seconds more of fuel. So just something interesting.
Yeah, so it sounds like Carl has entry figured out, but that's that big difference in running in clean air versus being able to use the draft of the cars ahead here. And that's where I'm kind of expecting Dancy to come out ahead of Herrera once they cycle through their first pit stops as well.
It looks like right now the top 12 have not pit, and everybody else has been in at least once.
So now Chris Herrera is entering the pits, and I kind of expected that. I was surprised that he was able to do a lap longer than Carl, having also run in clean air the entirety of the race. But I guess, like we said before, it seems like he was trying to do a little bit of fuel saving based on the lap times and how we were seeing that gap come down. So let's see what Dancy could do on this in lap. He's got to push, use all of that fuel up, and then use that slightly shorter pit stop to try to jump Chris.
He's got me thinking here, literally everybody else who hasn't pit went in that lap. Dancy's going to be the only one on this particular strategy, at least for the first pit stop. So hopefully it's not just that they know something he doesn't, and he's going to make it there to the end, to the pit road. But right now, 31 seconds the gap back to Adam Wright. That's the time that he's got to beat down pit lane.
Yep, and Adam's actually been able to leapfrog past Chris as well, so I fully expect Dancy to do the same. That said, I think that's kind of put Carl back within touching distance, about a second and a half back, and if we're kind of thinking that that pace was real from the two of these guys, I expect that to close up in the next lap or two, provided that Gherkin doesn't fight Carl too much, but we'll see if these guys want to play nice and work their way back up into the podium positions. But it appears that after those pit stops, everyone's kind of spread out a little bit, but we are still seeing that pack of Andrew Cole all the way back to Brian Perez, so P12 through 18. Still a nice tight pack, which I think is going to be where we see a lot of the exciting battling. I think those guys are out here just to have a good time today, which is always fun.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, there's still a lot of racing left to go, but Dancy's gonna dive into pit road here, and now the countdown timer starts on Adam coming around the corner. So let's see what Dancy can do, what his pit crew can do. Feeling the pressure now. He's 2 seconds, 3 seconds longer.
Yeah, so he's just getting passed by Adam here now. So I wonder if he had an issue on pit entry. But right now, Adam, really, really impressive with the strategy. I think he was just confident in his pace, and so decided to call an alternate strategy. That said, he's going to have to eat some of that pit time on the second stop. So while we're seeing
Gherkin looking to the inside of Carl here. He is not happy. Oh, no, Carl's going to let him go. Okay, all right. Sorry, I was getting really excited there. I was like, man, Gherkin's going to go for it. Carl falls back in line. But that's going to put him on the last podium spot, at least for the time being. Good job, Gherkin.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting overtake to make at this point. For me, that would be, am I confident in the guy ahead of me catching the next guy ahead of me? And maybe Gherkin's just saying no. I think Carl is happy enough to give up that position and just say, let's see what you can do. I kind of expect Carl to sit back here for a little bit and give Gherkin a chance to catch up to Herrera. And if he doesn't think Gherkin can do it, then I think he's going to have to go and try to get that spot back. Either that, or he can sit happily in the draft if things kind of stay steady, and use that shorter second stop to hopefully leapfrog back ahead and into Herrera's draft. So we'll see how this thing turns out.
1.6 seconds the gap now between Adam Wright and second place Chris Herrera. 1.5 back to Gherkin, so he's spaced pretty evenly there, as you can see. And Adam just trying to hang on to the lead here for as long as he can. We've got one more pit stop coming up in our 45-minute race. We are just about approaching halfway. So a lot of racing left to go. One more pit stop, a lot can happen, but Adam's got to be feeling pretty good about where he's at right now.
Yeah, I think crucially for Adam, he is keeping Chris out of his draft. And then crucially for Chris, Gherkin and Carl are out of the draft right now, which means that for Adam, he can't, Chris isn't going to be able to fuel save. And then the same thing goes for whoever is leading that fight for P3. So it's actually, I think, good news for Adam. Carl makes the pass on Gherkin now.
Yeah, look at that.
So
Speaking of which,
I think Carl decided, you know what, you're not making any inroads here. Let me have that spot back. We'll see if they decide that they want to kind of draft swap. Maybe that's what they're trying to do. But it seems to me like the pull up the hill isn't quite enough for you to completely clear the car ahead of you on your own. So this is kind of one of those scenarios where even if you work really, really well together in the draft, it doesn't necessarily lead to faster lap time for the pack overall.
a little further back, we've got Jeff Torbeck and Andrew Cole going side by side after turn 2 there.
Yeah, and that looks like that fight is going to continue. They're going side by side once again. This is that exciting fact that we were talking about before, that it's a nice big group that's kind of been able to hang out together. It seems like they're all pretty happy to go wheel to wheel with one another, and we're seeing some nice clean racing from them, which I'm super you know, you got to be proud of it when you see your league mates out there duking it out, hard but fair.
Well, other people's misfortune are these guys' benefit here, and they're still going at it.
Yeah, too wide into what I believe is turn 9, which it's a scary corner.
That is
admittedly,
interesting.
I haven't driven this track in the Skippies, but I have done it in the GT3s and in the LMPs, and yeah, turn 9, you're on a knife's edge, and definitely braver than I would be going in there too wide, that's for sure. And I like that the battle is continuing all the way up the hill to turn 1. These guys are putting on a show for us, and you love to see it.
Really nice move there by Jeff Torbeck to take the position back, but we'll see how long he can hold on to it. It's been interesting so far. Back up. Oh no, look at that. It's not
Andrew
already.
Right back at him. Looks like Brian Perez is maybe having a peek at the car ahead of him.
Shep is like, hey, are you guys giving away spots? Can I get in there? Can I get in on this? Oh man.
I couldn't tell if he got a little bit loose on exit or if there was a touch of contact. I think it was just under braking and turn in that we saw a little puff of smoke, but yeah, it's fun to see all these guys going too wide, really sending it for the position now. Like I said, you know, it's maybe not the best move in terms of strategy, but this is what we love to see in the league. So I'm all for it. Keep battling, guys.
Yeah, you know, one thing about this track, we talked a little bit. It's a momentum track, so you know, all this. You know, you go out and you practice and you hot lap and you're like, oh, you know, you're focusing on lap times and stuff like that. But this is why it's so important to practice. You know, either in public races or AI or in the league practices, running side by side, because when you don't get to run your line, you still need to be able to keep up that momentum. And these guys are doing a pretty dang good job of it so far, putting it all on display. This is a lot tougher than it looks. I'm here to tell you.
For sure. So crucially now at the front of the field, we've seen Herrera enter the draft of Adam Wright. He set the fastest lap of the race last lap as a 47.990. So the first car that we're seeing break into those 47s, and I expect him to kind of break into him again with how much draft he's getting this lap. So that fight for the lead is fresh, and because Herrera was able to find that draft, now we've seen that the fight for P3 has fallen off the fight for the lead, so it may just be these two fighting it out for the finish. And I don't believe Adam Wright has a win in Sunday Night Skippy, so he'll be desperately trying to hang on to this victory.
3.3 seconds the gap now, to your point. So yeah, these guys slowly but surely pulling away. And yeah, Chris is there. So Adam's got to be thinking, all right, he's there. He's made contact. You know, next thing up is when I'm going to pit. And he obviously executed very well the first time, so hopefully he can keep that going and pull it off. But Chris Herrera, you know, obviously a fantastic competitor and no slouch down pit road after the after the being branded the team running on empty. Don't let that fool you, man. He's learned a thing or two, and man, I love that. I love those turns. It just feels like you're throwing the car into 8 and 9, and to your point, it feels like a little bit of a knife edge, but at the same time, when you get it right, it just feels so good. Helenic back in for his second pit stop.
So we saw Herrera, do a 47.5. He had an incident somewhere in there, a little bit of an off track, so it's not going to count as the fastest lap of the race, but definitely now fully engaged in this battle. We'll see if he decides to try to make a pass or stay in draft. It looks like he's decided, at least for this lap, to stay in draft. I think maybe he's looking to use a little bit of fuel saving to his advantage in this second stop, but I don't think there's going to be enough separation with them on fuel saving for this final stop for them to have a gap between them when they both come out of the pit stop. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's working for them. They keep growing that gap between them and Gherkin, Dancy, and Drunky. So, I mean, there's really no reason, I don't think, you know, unless you just want to get up there and lead those laps, to really push the issue right now. You get the benefit. You're right next to each other. You get the benefit of the fuel savings, and there's still a lot of racing left to go. So, but that being said, I am still relative noob when it comes to the Skippy. So I trust these guys to use a much bigger brain power and make better decisions than I ever could. There's still, I know these guys are battling pretty hard up here, but my goodness, we've got some great stuff going back here with Brian Perez in the 93 car back in 15th spot. He's up 9 positions, and Benjamin Harris and Rafael Bofill, to Pim's point, Rafa didn't qualify maybe where we expected him to, but he's climbing the leaderboard, and it looks like he's trying to set himself up to take advantage to gain a couple more spots. But I mean, look at this, really great racing here by Brian Perez and Benjamin Harris.
Yeah, really good stuff. Getting close to one another, but not too close. Still respectfully leaving each other enough track. But that does open the door for Rafa to maybe make a run for the lead of this pack in turn 1. They're going to go 3 wide here now.
Oh, Rafa!
And I think he's going to pull it off here. Oh, it gets tight on the entry, and so he has to back out.
Yeah.
And that actually opens the door for Brian Perez to step back in and take a lead of this group once again. But the thing is now, Rafa is in draft, so we'll see if it works his way up there. If he can't make it happen into turn 3 up here, turn 4 at the bottom of the hill might be his spot, especially with these guys going too wide here. They're both going to have to compromise their exit, and Rafa, I think, is in a perfect position to jump these guys.
That's what I was talking about there. You get just a little bit of a goofy exit, you lose all your momentum, and to your point, you can still stay in the draft, but you're like, okay, well, now you gotta wait and set it up. I think that's the big takeaway for me after having races. If you're trying to do something and make the move stick, you really gotta think about it and have it set up, a turn or 2 in advance minimum, and maybe even longer than that, just trying to poke and prod and get the run that you need to make it stick. So yeah, really good stuff there by those guys. Adam Wright down pit road, so he's gonna leave Chris Herrera out there all in his lonesome. Keep an eye on Adam and his pit stop time, but Chris Herrera is gonna be leading the race by 4 seconds now over Gherkin, Demir, Joshua Dancy, and Carl Dronke.
Yeah, and so one thing with Herrera that I will say is I know he's pre-calculated what he believes to be the race distance in terms of laps, and he knows how many laps he needs to lead per bonus point, and he's keeping track of that throughout the race with an eye towards maximizing points in the championship. It's 100% a strategy that you can take to win the championship. Those bonus points make a huge difference, and so Chris is always trying to maximize those. So I think is kind of what he was thinking with that second stint is I got all the laps led in my first stint. I've got X number of bonus points. So if I can lead these laps at the end of the race, this is how many I'll end up with. And all that's going through Chris's head as he makes his decision of where he's going to pass and when he's going to make his pit stop.
Well, just a number to keep in mind there, Adam Wright, with a 12.18 seconds in the pit. So that he was refueling there for 12.18 seconds. Just a good reminder when we see all these other guys pit, and that could be the difference. The second pit stop is obviously the more critical one in my opinion, because the guys who to your point get it all down to the 1/10 of a liter or gallon or whatever units they were using. There's some guys who go into it knowing exactly what they want to do, and that could be the difference, make or break, a position or two.
Yeah, so I think crucially now, Chris has stayed out for another lap, which means that Adam probably came in a little early to cut Chris out of the draft. That said, Chris was showing very, very good pace, so we'll have to see if Adam can match that speed. If he can, then maybe these guys come out essentially wheel to wheel on pit exit.
Well, it does not look like Gherkin Demir is giving Carl Dronke any sort of respite here. They're switching positions one more time.
Yeah, and that that group of three has been interesting to watch. You know, at one point, Dancy kind of worked his way past Carl. Carl's now worked his way past Dancy. He's trying to maybe make the move on Gherkin here. So I think these guys have given up the fight for the lead and have said, you know what, I need to be in the best position to take this final pit stop. The one thing you want to do here, and the one reason you may want to be leading this group heading into the pits, is because you don't have anyone ahead of you to interrupt the entry into the pits that you want to take. So you can take it at your speed, and if you feel like you're faster on entry than the guy ahead, you definitely want that clear track to do that.
Well, as the pit strategies kind of start to play out, we've got roughly half the field, I guess, off of 2 pit stops, and the other half still looking for it. Adam Wright, obviously your leader. Gherkin Demir is going to be pitting in this time, along with Carl. We're just hearing over their race radio, so keep an eye out on that. We'll see if Dancy follows them in or not.
And Dancy stayed out.
Nope, he stayed out.
So he's decided that he's better off trying to jump those guys on pure pace alone. They were kind of duking it out back and forth, so he thinks probably if they come out and they decide to fight up the hill once again, he's better off maybe breaking away from them. Interestingly enough, Herrera has actually been able to stay out for another lap, and I think this might actually play into Adam's hands because throughout most of that last lap, he had the draft for Mike Shepka. Is that how we pronounce it?
Shepka, yeah.
So I think he was able to put in a pretty solid time, having a little bit of help from that draft.
Well, that'll certainly help. You can see Adam Wright now passing Gherkin Demir by just a bit. Obviously, he's got to get up to speed there, but it looks like Gherkin's gonna come out in the draft cone there of Adam Wright. Presumably the leader after the second pit stops here.
Yes, that's actually surprising. I think with how close Gherkin is after that pit stop, I would expect Herrera to hang on to this lead. That said, Carl came out a lot further back than Gherkin did, and Gherkin was leading that pack a little bit, so it's possible that we're seeing Gherkin under fuel.
Yeah, 9.95 seconds. So he was about 2 seconds less in pit lane than both Adam and Carl. So bold strategy if he can make it work. But that's 2 seconds is a lot of fuel on a Skippy.
Yeah, so maybe he's thinking, I'm gonna purposely short fuel, try to get into the draft of the guys ahead, and then see if I can fuel save my way to the finish, which is viable, but you have to be super disciplined. And like we talked about at the beginning of the race, in the heat of the moment, it's hard to always make the right decision of, I can't battle here. When you see the gap there, you want to kind of go for it. And we'll see if he's able to show enough discipline to make the strategy pan out.
Chris Herrera's in pit road now, but he overshot his pit. So that's going to be interesting. Dancy down pit road as well. This is going to be the battle for the lead here. Chris with a fantastic pit time there. Same with, so Dancy's at 9.6 seconds too. Interesting.
So it may be the case that Adam just had to take more fuel for whatever reason, but Chris is in the lead. I think Adam is just going to be within draft here. We're going to see a nice tight pack for the win. We'll see if Dancy can kind of close up that gap to Gherkin, but Gherkin's strategy has really paid off here, putting him in the fight potentially for the win. But I think he has to stay patient here behind Adam and let Adam do the work to catch up to Chris, because I think if they do any jostling like we saw with them in that pack for the fight for P3, Chris is just going to walk away. He's just too quick.
So sub 10 second pit times include Gherkin Demir, Joshua Dancy, we're talking about there in the battle for the podium. Jeff Torbeck.
Yeah, Jeff Torbeck in the 8 seconds from what I can see.
Yeah, sub 9 seconds. So I'm really gonna keep an eye on Jeff and and his fuel situation there. Rafa Bofil also with quick pit stops. So quite a few. I guess my point is quite a few drivers who are sub 10 seconds there on the amount of fuel that they took. We'll see.
Yeah, so some of those guys we saw take the later stop, and one thing that'll happen with fuel calculators is the more laps that you get in, the closer it gets to the end of the race, the more accurate that fuel calculator is going to be. So maybe the race was right on the edge of leading one more lap when Adam came in, and because of the times that we were seeing, that extra lap has now gone away, allowing those guys to take one lap less of fuel.
Jeff Torbeck clearly is not worried about his fuel situation. He passes Andy Au there for 12th position, so he's up 7 spots now, and trying to track down Steve Dewar 5 seconds ahead of him. So Jeff Torbeck in full push mode here. And look at that, Gurkin Demir not giving Adam the lead. Gurkin wants to be the one to take them up to the promised land there at the gearbox of Chris Herrera.
It does look like he was able to use that draft in this particular scenario to make up a 10th or two. So we'll see if
we got it off. Who was that? Carl Dronke slow. Sorry. Joshua Dancy passes him. I wonder what happened. I'm going to go back and look.
Hey, let's see. So it looks like in the lead up to the top of the hill, Carl gets on the brakes and maybe just overcooks it a little bit. Yep, on turn in, he gets a little bit loose, and Dancy scoops right back past him.
And that's in a Skippy. That's a painful acceleration when you're dang near sideways and trying to get the car to start moving again. It's a very frustrating feeling, but
and
yeah,
in fairness to him, that is a hard car to hold sometimes, so really, really well done to not be looking in the opposite direction.
Big time. So it looks like he's going to still maintain in Dancy's draft there, so I'm sure he'll be able to scoot his way back up, and that's going to be for 4th position, those guys battling it out. Well, keep your eye on that lead. Chris Herrera's 1.4 seconds now to the good, but that yellow and black car and blue and white cars are starting to loom pretty large in the rearview mirrors.
Yeah, so it looks like they were able to make up about 2/10, just short of 2/10 last lap. So if they can continue to try to chip into this lead, they might have him on the last lap. But I'd say Chris, knowing him as the competitor he is, he's not going to make it easy for them to catch up to him, and he's going to make it extra difficult for them to pass. So I'd say he's definitely in the position I would want to be in at this point. And I think if you're Adam right here, the call is just to kind of sit behind Gurkin and let Gurkin put in the time to try to catch up. It seems like their pace has been pretty equal throughout the entirety of the race. So I don't think Adam's too concerned with being faster and being able to catch back up. But he does want to be in the position to use draft on the last lap to get the position if he needs to.
Well, as we tick down inside of 3 minutes remaining in the race, so just a couple more laps left, we've got some great battles throughout the field. Gurkin and Adam, obviously.
Thomas Williams and Michael Howanick are having a great battle. They were just too wide a little bit ago, and they are not giving each other an easy time whatsoever.
Yeah, two great competitors there side by side through that whole entire complex, and see if they can keep doing it. But that's tough to do, ladies and gentlemen. Very good to see. Looks like Jonathan Dockery has got a rearview mirror full of JR Hoops. Jeff Torbeck and Andy Au, we just mentioned a little bit earlier. Jeff Snavely and Max DiGiacomo have found each other on track. So yeah, this is it. This is for all the marbles. Those are your closest battles going on at the moment. But yeah, right now the storyline is Chris Herrera leading now by only 1.17 seconds, which is a little bit less than last time we checked in.
It is, and it looks like even Adam has lost out a little bit here. So it's possible that Gurkin, I mean, it was another 2/10 last lap essentially. So if he can make that happen again, he'll be in the draft for the final lap, and it'll be a tight one. But Gurkin showing really, really nice pace here to catch back up to Herrera.
Yep, reminder, the sub 10-second pit stop there for Gurkin. Not sure if that's a factor yet or not, because other people had the same, but I guess we'll find out another Max Giacomo down pit road to fill up one more time, and we are at 44 minutes now, and
Yeah,
I imagine
we're looking at the white flag next lap, so it's
coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm in, so some of these pairs like we're seeing with Carl and Joshua Dancy, or Michael Howanick and Thomas Photos, or even back to Dockery and Hoops, I really want to be the second car in that pairing for this final lap and try to use that draft. I think regardless, you're looking at going side by side almost the entirety of the lap if you're in any of these pairs. So hopefully you've practiced racing off the racing line this week, because I think a lot of these guys are going to need it here to finish out the race. It looks to me like that gap has just come down to a second, so it seems like Gherkin has something in that final corner. This draft is going to help out so much, but we also have Max DiGiacomo coming out of the pits. Let's see if he stays out of the way of these guys. Yep.
Gherkin trying to draft.
Gherkin trying to use that draft a little bit. So smart move there, but that gap is kind of stabilized at a second. It looks like Herrera is just a little bit faster through turn 1 there, so I just don't think they've caught him quite enough. But also really well done to Gherkin to kind of drop Adam and get a little bit of a gap to kind of make things safe. That said,
He's in DRS range now, boys.
He's in DRS range down the hill. He's got that Skippy DRS, so we may see this very close to the finish line. I still think Chris probably has it here, but he's got to be perfect. And you know 100%, as that car is leading, you kind of saw you had a gap. You said, all right, I'm probably safe with this gap. And the next thing you know, you're looking up and you're saying, this guy's in draft. I think Gherkin is, at least in terms of the mental battle here, is winning. We'll see if he can win it on track too.
Yeah, well, we're going through the last couple opportunities, 8 and 9 remaining. Yeah, so we'll see if Gherkin's going to yeet it and go for the win, or he's going to be happy with his second place finish. Looks like Adams pretty comfortable there on his final podium spot. Nice race for him. But yeah, this is very tempting to.
Oh, and Gherkin's just
Lost
disappeared
Gherkin.
from me. So hopefully that's not a disconnect.
Oh
that would
no! I couldn't believe. Oh, did he get? No, he only has 11 off tracks. I don't know.
Well, it looks
Well,
like,
congratulations there.
yeah, right now it looks like we're going to hope that Gherkin was able to finish that race, but that would be a very unfortunate disconnect going into the final quarter. Still, we've got Carl Dronke and Joshua Dancy coming through. It looks like Thomas Photos just went out that battle with
Oh,
Michael
Aaron
Allen.
Law's gonna run out of fuel in the final turn. Steve Dorr passes him.
No! And he just makes it across the line.
Oh
But yeah,
man.
Oh, and it looks like Jeff Torbeck has maybe done the same thing. He's also
But
sputtering.
Shepka's gonna get there.
Oh, but it looks like Shepka actually stayed behind him, which is
Very
he might be running out of fuel as well. Yeah, a lot of
But-
these guys cut it very close, I think. But it makes for some
Oh,
interesting.
man.
Brian Perez coming through, Jeff Stavely coming through in P17. Peter Lee still heading into turn 9 looks like he's going to be P18 if he has enough fuel. Followed by Benjamin Harris and then Scott Bell rounding out the top 20. Let's see if we have any finishing battles here. Andrew Cole getting close-ish to Ray Bartikowski, but I think he's just going to be a little bit too far back. And then it's just a bunch of crash skippies in turn 1. Oh no, and Jeff Snavely, I think. No, never mind. He crossed the finish line.
So I'm looking at the iRacing messages, and it says Gherkin Demir disconnected due to incoming packet loss. Oh.
And that is a heartbreaker. Yeah, I've seen him now drop down to 223 in the classification. After a fantastic, honestly, still I got to give hats off to him. What a fantastic strategy to get himself in a position to almost catch up to Chris. He really did. He caught up to Chris. He just didn't quite have the laps left. He needed about 1, maybe 2 more laps to really put in a challenge. But perfect strategy call there to get him into that fight and get him on the podium.
Did so good. I see Joshua Dancy and Gherkin Demir are typing in Discord. I cannot wait to see what they have to say. Oh man, I can't believe that. Yeah, go check out Flybry9, FLYBRY9 on Twitch and I believe YouTube now. Brian Perez doing the chaos replay. Love to give our guys the props there. Yeah, Gherkin Demir looks like he had a blue screen of death. Oh, jeez, you hate to see it. Hate it for him. But a really well executed race overall, and that was just really exciting to watch, man. He did fantastic. I will still give got to give him the props there for, like you said, just great strategy overall, and yeah.
Absolutely. My theory is that he seemed to find something in that final corner, and that's where he was making up quite a bit of time. I think his computer just couldn't handle his speed anymore.
He outran his computer. He outran.
Yeah, it was just
Bill
like, I give
Gates.
up. I can't do it again.
Oh man.
But so really well done. Congratulations, obviously, to the podium. Chris Herrera with that win, but Adam Wright coming in shortly behind him, and then Carl Tronky just beating out Joshua Dancy to the line. So, and then Thomas Photos rounding out the top 5, making that final pass on Michael Halladay, the top 5 position. But really well done, I think, overall for everyone. There were a couple situations where we saw P3 or going 3 wide getting a little bit too dicey, resulting in a couple of contacts here and there. But overall, the side-by-side racing that we saw, super respectful, super clean, and especially entertaining.
Yeah, I'm sure the stewards aren't going to be not busy, but that was overall pretty impressive based on the horror stories I heard from the drivers over the week. So, real quick, let's bring in Jonathan Dockery. He's chilling in the booth here. Jonathan, welcome. Hope you enjoyed your time in Austria.
No.
Up 8 spots though, or seven, no 8. Yeah.
8, yeah. I'd say it was a pretty good day.
Compared to how the pub week went, that's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, we were just saying that.
You would think that, and my pub week went horrible. I think I lost 400 iRating here. But, like, coming into the season, I told everybody my goal was 2K iRating. I have achieved that. I don't have it right now. And 2 SNS top 10. And if you remember back last season, you'd have thought that was attainable this season, the last season. But I've done it, but it's like I should be happier, but I've got to my qualifying. It's killing me because, like, by lap 2, I think the front 10 were checked out and gone. So, gotta fix it. Yeah, it was a good race. I mean, I stayed out of trouble. I should have been 8th, and it would have been fun fighting with JR that last lap. But
So you did get 8th. You did end up 8th because Gherkin actually disconnected right before the final corner. So you did gain a spot and end up P8.
They're discussing. I already looked at the chat. They're discussing because he blue screen and he was 2nd, giving him 2nd, put me 9th, and I'm okay with that. I mean,
Yeah, I hope. Well, whatever. I guess I'll refrain from saying anything too official on a recording.
Right.
But yeah, it doesn't seem like anybody's super against that right now for the time being. So we'll see. I don't know what iRacing league standings allow you to do or not. Anyway, but
so I may have messed myself over because I pitted early because I knew who I was fighting around, and I like those guys, but it's this track has been notorious all week long for accidental getting bumped through and getting into a hard turn. So it's like, all right, just to get in and getting in pit road sucks. So if your nose to tell that tight, if one guy hits the brake a little hard and you don't catch it, I was like, I'm not getting a penalty here. So I pitted 3 laps early, I think, and it almost bit me because I'm sitting there watching my fuel on JRT, and it's like, it says you need 1.2 gallons. I look up and it's like, that's going to be close. And I cut it pretty close. So, but it all worked out. It was fun. Congrats to the winner.
yeah, man. Well, it was, overall, just it was a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, certainly probably some frustration from everybody. But yeah, that's I'd take that any day of the week, man. Up to PA, maybe P9. We'll see what happens there. But either way, top 10, comfortably in the top 10 there for you at a track that It could have gone, either way. So that's good.
I've run SNS like I run my pubs, and a lot of people heard me say, not here to race. I'm just focused on marks, lines, getting my hour up, learning what I need to learn from Carl, and getting better. Right? I've said it all season. And tonight, I told some of the guys, I think I told Jason Burkheimer earlier today, I'm like, I think I'm ready to race, so I'm going to race. So, I battled with JR and battled with a couple other guys and fought past cars, and I think I got past Drake.
Very good, man. Well, hey, anybody you want to say hi to before we let you go?
Yeah, my Spartan Racing teammate, and huge shout out to Phil Kanian. He painted my car, but he's not going to be racing for a bit. I don't think I need into all that. Huge shout out to him. And for all that you all do. And congrats on SF2. Somebody got second, I think.
I think I ended up pulling out the third, but either way, I was super happy with it. It was a good battle there at the end. I need a little more practice though.
Yeah, we gotta watch out, man, because he's like, oh man, I stink in the Skippy. That's why I don't race. That's why I broadcast. But I don't know, man. This broadcast might disappear, and Swallow just might be racing with us week in and week out.
It's a dangerous precedent. Yeah.
Not to toot my own horn, Chris, but we have Leo. I slaughtered his last name.
Yeah.
So we've got Leo, Steve Durr, Mike Bowers, Jeffrey Decker, and myself over at the school. So if you ever want to work on it, you're welcome to come over into Discord, and those guys will be more than happy to.
Very nice. I like the pitch there too. That was fantastic stuff, man. I didn't know if you're a salesman, but
you saw Barry tonight. I work with him a little bit, and everybody's worked with him, and Leo's been working with him a lot. Barry qualified third in SF2 tonight, and he self-spun, was 8.5 seconds back, and I spot for him, and I was like, just stay focused, go do what you do. You're like the third fastest car here. You're easily a top 5 car, and he ran himself back into the pack and finished 7th. So
awesome.
And he's Barry because that was a hell of a recovery. So
yeah,
you guys put on a heck of a show. I really enjoy the SF2.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, now we just have to get you racing SF1.
Yeah, you guys are way intense. I don't think I could hang, but yeah, maybe one of these days. I'd love to give it a shot. Maybe on one of the tracks that takes a little less skill.
Track's a track. So, but I'm gonna bounce out of here. I've got a message from Carl in Discord. I see. So.
Okay, all right. You have fun with that.
Congrats on the top 10. Congrats on achieving the goals. So you have to reset your goals for the season. I'm expecting to see you in the top 5 at some point.
Nope, I have no goals left for the season. It is what it is. I would love to be top 10 in points. That's not going to happen because, well, circumstances are circumstances, but we'll get to it next week and see what happens.
Hey, man, we'll look forward to see you out there.
Is Imola. At Imola, I'm looking forward to seeing where it shakes out.
Good stuff, man. Well, we will see you around, and we'll look forward to seeing how that works out.
Sure.
All right. Jonathan Dockery there. Great finish. Fantastic finish. 8th or 9th, depending on how it works out. But, yeah, awesome stuff.
Really well done. Really well executed race.
Somebody else who finished okay. Chris Herrera is joining us in the booth.
I think, though. Just okay.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Welcome back, man. I feel like it's been forever.
It has been a while. I mean, I've been back for the past few weeks, but I had some terrible races, so I didn't want to come bother you in the Discord. So here I am.
No, you're never bothering us, but yeah, that was a really great race. My biggest question for you right off the bat is those last few laps after all the pit stops had cycled through and all that, and you had just over a second, and then not just over a second, was that we're trying to figure out if there was like fuel things stuff going on, or if Gherkin was just like chasing you down and you're like, oh crap. Like talk I just want to hear what your perspective was of what that's like to see that yellow machine filling up your roof.
Yeah, first of all, I'm just heartbroken for Gherkin. I don't know if you guys realized, but he disconnected like half a second before the final turn. He got a blue screen on his computer, and that just completely ruined his P2. But going into that last lap, I was, I think, 1.2, 1.4 seconds ahead of him. And as I made T1, I saw that somebody else was coming out of the pits. I don't remember who it was. And I thought to myself, oh, crap, I wonder if they're going to give Gherkin a draft, and then he'll get closer to me. And I think that's what happened. I don't think I made any mistakes or anything on T1, T2. I think Gherkin got some nice draft, plus he probably just raced out of his mind, and he got in, underneath a second with me, and that made that last lap a little bit more interesting and exciting. And it's just so unfortunate that he disconnected right before the end. I think if his computer could have held out for, I think, 5 or 6 more seconds, he would have had that P2 in the bag.
Yeah, so I know what that can be like, seeing that delta slowly come down. I'm pretty sure I have nightmares at night about a time when you were hunting me down in that position. So
I think at Oran Park, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, what was going through your head? Was it just like keep hitting the marks, try to stay on it, and hope the clock runs out, or were you pretty confident throughout those closing laps?
Yeah, you know what? This week I was pretty confident overall. I knew I had some really good pace through the public races, and then qualification for today's race, I felt very good with that. And then the first half of the race, it was Joshua Dancy and myself, and I noticed that he wasn't going to try to make any passes, so at that point I was just fuel saving like crazy from the front. And then the second half of the race, when it was Gherkin behind me, and actually Adam Wright as well for a lot of the race, I was not going to say pleasantly, but happy for them, surprised that they made it much more difficult to pull away. Sometimes I couldn't pull away, and when I did pull away, I had to have the perfect lap in front of them. So it's I think you guys have spoken to this before, as well as Pete and a few other guys, but the competition in this group is getting out of control in a good way. But yeah, that last lap, or the last few laps, I knew I had the 1.2, 1.4 second gap, and I just tried not to focus on looking behind me or looking at the deltas. I just cleared my screen and really focused on, qualification pace, basically. And, it was good practice, but at the end of the day, I knew all things being equal, I was pretty confident that I would be able to stay ahead. But once I saw that Gherkin either got the draft from the lapped car, or he just had a much better lap than me on the final lap, I got a little bit more nervous, but then I sort of reminded myself, all right, it's time to, buckle down, don't even look, just do the race, focus ahead. And, luckily for me, it worked out. So yeah, I was really, really happy with today's race.
Nice, man. Well, really well done. There was a lot of speculation about like fuel strategy and stuff like that, but I think it seems like you nailed it today. So big congrats, man.
Oh, thanks. I guess you guys were not watching.
We've come. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Yeah, absolutely. Running on empty is now running on just a little bit more than empty.
Yeah, running on almost empty.
Yeah, exactly. I guess you guys didn't see my second pit entry. I went a little bit past the stall.
Oh, no, I saw it.
Yeah. So actually, I mean, that honestly makes the win a little bit more impressive, because having to kick it into reverse. Hey, well done keeping your head there. I would have freaked out. But
oh no, I freaked out.
Yeah, I think. Well, my whole point on that was, that's all it really takes to take you out of that discussion for the win, is something like that. Exactly what you did. And I was like, I hate it for him. This is not, that's probably going to be it for him. He overshot his pit stall, but no, he pulled it out. So there you go.
Yeah, I guess I got pretty fortunate in that case that didn't, take me out of the lead. So I was, again, I've done that a few too many times. So I really got to work on that.
Wasn't too bad, but still, to your point, the competition here is to that level where that could certainly be the end of it. But yeah, man, it was really well done, and you had us on the edge of our seat. I think the RedBull Ring agrees with you. I don't know if you like it or not, but clearly you've found something here.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I just learned it, I think, on Thursday or Friday this week. I'd never raced here before, and then I just did quite a few public races to get up to practice, and I guess it just suits my driving style a lot. I'm a real fan of, getting the diagonals just right and just very slow, easy turns until you get to a hard, sharp turn, and then you use the momentum of the car and the shifting to help you turn and whatnot. So yeah, I think it just agrees with me, and I really like this track a lot. It's unfortunate I think we only had 29 or 30 folks racing today. I was hoping we'd have a fuller grid.
Yeah, I'm pretty upset I missed this week. It seemed like it was going to be
Me too.
a good, fun, skippy track, but hopefully I'll have a wheel for next week. So we'll see.
Oh, is that what happened? Why you weren't racing today?
Yeah. I've my wheel's been sent back for repairs. I ordered a new one, but it's also like in waiting. So I'm just in a wheelless rig right now.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That's mostly unfortunate for you, but I was looking forward to racing you as well today.
Hey man, we'll be back at it soon.
Awesome.
And I am looking forward to it. I'm very, very glad you're back. We gotta try to drag Pete back up towards the front. I'm gonna talk a little trash on Pete right now to try to get him motivated. The qualifying is not up to McBride's standard, and we need to see that change.
Yeah, I'm guessing he wasn't doing a whole lot of practice and whatnot, because when he puts his mind to it, he'll be right up there.
Yeah, I don't want him to put his full mind to it, but
Right.
like 90% mind.
Hold on now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, I'll let you guys go, but thanks for bringing me in again, and it's real good to talk with you guys again. So thanks for everything, and shout out to Run on Empty as always.
Well, cheers, Chris, man. Congratulations on the win. Really,
Thank you, guys.
really well done race.
Thank you, I really appreciate that. Bye, guys.
See ya. For sure, race winner. Real quick, gents. Mr. Decker, if you wouldn't mind taking this one, I'm going to bring Gherkin in to talk about the heartbreak there in the last turn. I got to step away for just a second, but not before we bring in Gherkin to mirror the something place finisher tonight.
Yeah, Gherkin, heartbreak there right before the final corner, the disconnect. But until that point, we saw you run a really, really excellent race, including a very impressive pit strategy to kind of get you from the battle for P3 into that battle for potentially the win. So can you just walk us through kind of how you made that work today?
Look, I was looking for, I knew that I had a little bit more than group that we were driving together. So I was just waiting for a 3 laps left tank. I was going to see who's gonna pit first, and I was gonna someone pits on the 3rd lap. I was gonna be lap, but no one pit on this 3rd lap. So then I don't remember, pitted 2 laps on my tank, and I say, okay, I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna get a good run with my last drip of fuel, what is left in my tank, and that lap was really. And I studied a lot, getting that as well, and then when I got out, I was by myself. Then I caught up. I don't remember who I caught up, and I found myself in the position beside on the.
Gotcha. We were cutting out a little bit, but it sounds like you kind of leaned on trying to do a little bit of an alternate fuel strategy, and then just found the pace this week to really make that strategy work for you. Yeah, man. I mean,
I think so.
We saw some things get maybe a little bit dicey here and there throughout the race, but overall, a lot of really good battling. It looked like you had some good battling with Carl and Dancy earlier on, I think, with Pete. So it seemed like a place you felt comfortable, kind of going wheel to wheel, and then also kind of racing offline for that track position.
We had a couple of unlucky incidents first laps. I don't know exactly what happened. Right. I left a little bit space on my left. I checked that Michael was just to me, but that was before the braking point. And on the replay, when I was watching your broadcast, I saw that he left all the way to the left, but I tried to give at least one car space. Then I think the Scott start moving a little bit to the left. Might have a little bit net code.
Yeah, I think we actually just saw the replay. It looks like maybe a little bit of netcode played into that, but yeah, man. Either way, I mean, we saw you doing some fantastic battling throughout the entire field, and I think you did a really good job of kind of timing those moves, timing your strategy, and then also just trusting your own pace to kind of make the race come to you in the way you wanted to.
Okay, I was really trying really hard at the end to catch Chris, sorry, Herrera, but I dropped the gap to the under 1 second the last lap, but that was not enough. And on the last turn, I was like, okay, sweating, I'm tired. Or over, and as soon as I turned the second corner while coming for the last corner, that should happen. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah, it's definitely an unfortunate way to finish off what was 100% a very, very impressive race from you. So super well done on executing that. Unfortunate on how it ended, but I think you could just take a positive moving forward from this race and kind of try to keep this momentum going.
It was really fun to race with everyone. Looking for the next week.
All right. Well, thanks again, Gherkin. Really fun watching you guys battle it out for the end there. And we will see you next week at Mid-Ohio.
Thank you. See you guys later.
Gherkin Demir there with a heartbreaker blue screen of death. Never want to see that, but still, something to hang your hat on there. Not too bad. Let's see. We have another taker here. Ray Bartnikowski. Fellow aviation geek and Trading's paint connoisseur. If you notice his tiger paint scheme there. But Ray, how was the race for you tonight?
A lot of up and down. The first stint was going really great, and then I clipped the pit wall exiting after my first pit stop, and that kind of ruined everything.
Yeah, that'll do it. That's a where'd you end up clipping it?
The very end of the retaining wall on exit. I got on the gas a little too early and just pushed a little too wide, and I think my left rear touched.
Yeah, that's a tougher one than it looks, by the way. Everybody who's watching, that pit road exit is not easy.
It's so easy to do at exits like this. One that always catches me out is Interlagos, because you want to go out of there so fast, but then at the same time, there's a bunch of barriers that are really calling your name.
Yeah, I really needed to get a good exit out of there, so I didn't lose JR's draft, and I just pushed it a little too hard.
Well, unfortunate, but I think we saw some really nice battling. Anyway, it seemed like you had some nice battling with Dewar, if I remember correctly, and a couple other scraps here and there. Talk us through kind of how those went.
Yeah, I was in a pack with Dewar, Aaron Law, Ben Harris, Andy L. I was trying to get to the front of that because I felt like I had a little bit more pace than we were running. And then in a couple of those passes with Aaron, he started blanking really bad, and I didn't feel like I could comfortably race side by side. So I wanted to get to the front there. We eventually, started to get the pace towards the end of the run, and then the first pit stop happened.
Gotcha. Well, I'd say based on the pace and kind of the racing that we saw you doing throughout the race, you at least can take some positives into next week. It seemed like you had good pace. I think good racecraft outside of clipping the pit wall. But I'd say, a lot of positives to take away. I know you're a little bit disappointed, but you kind of feel the same, that like you've got some good building blocks here.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't expect to be doing that well in the first place. After I did my first couple of pubs today, and I didn't have pace, I was going to be happy with a top 20 here, and then I ended up qualifying like P11, P12. I was really surprised by that. So yeah, even with that one little mistake, I feel good after this. I'm excited to see how we do next week.
Nice. Yeah, it could be one of those situations where, just everyone may be struggling with the new track. I think we just got the replay of clipping the pit wall, so unfortunate to also be aiming the other direction. But yeah, I mean, either way, like I said, I think there are a lot of positives to take away. The battling that we saw you doing tonight was superb, so I'm really impressed.
Thanks. I've been working on it. I want to get safer racing against faster guys, so we're getting there.
Awesome,
nice,
man. Yeah, well, good job. We'll see you at Mid-Ohio, which seems to be a favorite. I don't know if it's one of yours, but a lot of hype, a lot of excitement for that one. I think it'll lead to some really good racing.
Actually, now that you say Mid-Ohio, I am out this weekend. I'll see you in the next one.
Oh no!
I'm going to Seattle for the weekend for the first time. So.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, that's not all bad then. I love that Seattle area. So have fun there, and I guess we'll see you the week after.
Yeah. Anyone you want to give a final shout out to?
Chris Morrill and his wonderful finish in SF2. That was pretty impressive.
You can't see me, but I'm raising my hands in victory.
Yeah, he's gonna be doing a shoey later.
Nice.
I may or may not have been wearing a shirt with Danny Rick doing a shoey, but well, we'll see. Maybe I'll have to send you guys a picture. But yeah, no, appreciate it. That was a lot of fun. I'm really glad I got the opportunity, and Pim and Peter, well, Pim specifically for running the cameras and doing the stream and all that, but Peter for helping out too. Allowed me to do that, so super happy.
Yeah, P3 is a good finish, and
Yeah.
I guess Carter Stickney too for the win. I've raced Carter a couple times in a couple different cars. Always had a good time with him, so it's good to see him win.
Yeah, 100%. I raced nose to tail for quite a while in my one and only V race, Formula V race there on Saturday mornings. Sunday Night Skippy, go check it out. We had a lot of fun, a lot of close racing, little mind games there at the end because it's a very draft heavy track. Yeah, so it was good to see him pull that out, and I was rooting for him. Anyway, all right, well, we'll see you around, Ray.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
We'll see you. Ray Bartnikowski. Not going to be here next week. That's a shame. But yeah, probably not the finish he wanted overall, but still gave us some pretty dang good battles to watch there. All right, gentlemen. Pim, you've been quiet, man. You got any final thoughts for the week here before we head off to Mid-Ohio, which is not in the middle of Ohio?
Wow, you guys are rocking it. I was just trying to keep up, and I think it worked really well. But it was quite a bit of a race. This was amazing to see. Yeah, you guys rocked it as commentators. We're always right on the spot, and really appreciate that I could join. So thanks very much.
Well, I don't even know. Well, we should just end on that, Jeffrey. I don't know that we have anything to add. We're fantastic.
I think he just dropped the mic for us.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun calling it. I knew going into this. So I love this track. I'm like you. I've never raced it in the Skippy, obviously, before, but we've done it in the Dallara IR01 for our fun races when the actual Formula One was here. GT3, stuff like that, and I just have a blast. It's a little different animal in the Skippy, I'm not gonna lie, but it's just very picturesque. We've already got great comments there for you, Pim, on the camera packs and all that. So apparently that was knocked out of the park. People were super impressed with that, and I was happy to race, and it was a great show. A little smaller grid, I think, than we were anticipating, but anytime you have dang near 30 guys on the track at any given time, and that's low, that's a good thing. So yeah, man, how about you, Jeffrey? Any final thoughts?
No, I mean, I think we saw some good fun racing. I think well contested by all. So I'm itching to get back out there and race with these guys. I want to add one more to the grid. So as much as I love hanging out with you, I also like being out there.
This has been a long time coming, by the way. He's teased me
I know,
for quite a few weeks.
I was holding on because I knew it would just take too long to get this thing back, but I'm glad I was able to join you here in the booth. It's always a fun time, and I'm sure I'll be back again.
Oh boy, yeah. No, it's we'll hang on to you as long as possible. I'm gonna go talk to the company and make sure that they just slow roll it, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, it's always a pleasure having you in here, getting your perspective, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next week, Mid-Ohio. We had a epic battle for the win on the last lap. / shenanigans / lots of yelling. So hopefully we can come close to living up to last season's Mid-Ohio race. It's a different configuration. It's a short configuration. So we're basically taking out that long straight and the hairpin and then the long straight again. So I think we're going to be all, pretty well bunched together there. It should make for some great racing. And yeah, that's all I got. You guys got anything else? We're going to say goodnight.
No, yeah, I think next week will be interesting. We'll see if I'm in the booth or out on track, but I do think the overtaking opportunities are going to be a little bit harder to come by next week because I think the two main ones are taken out by that shorter config. So
Yeah,
it should
good
be
point.
exciting.
Good point.
Well, Chris, at one point I do have to go back on track to get rid of my black flag. It wasn't this one, and I really enjoyed it. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I want to say good night and see each other next Sunday.
Absolutely.
Sorry, I already pressed the button. I thought you got that clue. You know what? Yeah, exactly. And you know what I would like to see in the YouTube account, because you can see like when people drop off, and I do think a lot of racers will drop off after this, and if you spend too much time on it. But I really enjoyed it. No, I think it was doing quite well. I had some difficulty sometimes with the sound, but that's the cool thing. And you guys were doing it so well. I was like, I'm not gonna even try to get in here. No way. I'm just. I was happy with my spot. So great teamwork. All right. All right. All right, man. Catch you later. Bye bye.